This is Professor Venkatrama PR, Assistant Professor of English, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. I am presently working at Government First Grade College, Gudipandi. Friends, I welcome you all to this fourth session of learning a novella, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is prescribed for the students of 4th semester BCom of Bengaluru North University. Friends, in the first and foremost part of this novel, we are going to study Jonathan Livingston Seagull's very important development in his life. This first part deals with Jonathan Livingston's recognition of himself to be able to fly faster, higher and lower than any other seagulls of his flock. We know that this story is about a unique individual who has a personal ambition to be more than his nature. The story is about a unique individual who has a personal ambition to be more than his nature. The protagonist is a seagull named Jonathan Livingston Seagull, who is a free-spirited bird of flight. It's morning, a net with bite is thrown from a fishing vessel, and the flock of seagulls fly to get food crumbs by cunning or force. The seagull, a crowd of thousands of them, dodging and fighting for food leftovers a mile from shore. Most gulls do not bother to learn more than the simplest facts of flight. How to get from shore to food and back. For most gulls, it is not flying that matters. Only one seagull, named Jonathan Livingston Seagull, makes his tiny flights in complete solitude. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is no ordinary bird. This bird firmly believes that there is more to life than basic materialism. For this gull, though it was not eating that matter more than anything else, Jonathan Livingston Seagull loved to fly. This kind of thinking is not the way to make oneself popular. Jonathan violates all the unwritten laws of the pack. Hands in the air. This bird flies low over the water and develops tremendous speed. At 1,000 feet, Jonathan climbs to attempt a full power dive during one of his many flying excursions. He is seized with a passion for the flight of all kinds, and his soul soars as he experiments with exhilarating challenges of daring aerial feats. He is trying to bring his flying skills to perfection. This experimentation helps Jonathan Seagull become better and better every day. Jonathan neglects the main occupation of seagulls, the extraction of food. His parents are worried because their son turned into feathers and bones. After obeying persuasion of the parents, Jonathan tries to stay back in his clan. He lives a week like the rest of his seagulls. But then he realizes the meaninglessness of such existence and returns to training. His parents are worried because their son turned into feathers and bones. After obeying the persuasion of his parents, Jonathan lives a week like the rest of the seagulls. But then he realizes the meaninglessness of such an existence and returns to training. The whole week followed by that. He learns to fly at high speed, but nothing comes of it. One day in the afternoon, he manages to make several aerobatics. From 2000 feet, he tried again. He passed 50 miles per hour. In 10 seconds, he had blurred through 90 miles per hour. Jonathan had a person who had set world record for seagulls. The instant he changed his angle of wings, he snapped into the terrible, uncontrollable disaster. At 90 miles per hour, rapidly descending from a great height, Jonathan strongly hits the water and faints. Jonathan Seagull exploded in mid-air and smashed down onto a brick hard sea. He floated in the moonlight on the surface of the ocean. As he sank low in the water, recovering, he hears a strange hollow voice. The strange hollow voice had a lot of influence on him. The strange hollow voice says within him, "If I am a seagull, I am limited by nature. If I were meant to fly at speed, I would have a falcon short wings." Jonathan decides to reunite and return to the pack. He felt that his father was right. He also felt that he must fly home to the flock. Jonathan agreed that the place for the seagull at night onshore. And from this moment forth, Jonathan vowed he would be a normal gull. It would make everyone happier. He pushed wearily away from the dark water and flew towards the land. He felt grateful for what he had learned about work-saving low altitude flights. He felt that he is a seagull like every other seagull and he will fly like one. So he climbed painfully to 100 feet and flapped his wings harder, pressing for shore. He felt better for his decision to be yet just another one of the flock. There would be no ties now to the force that had driven him to learn. There would be no more challenges and no more failure. He started flying through the dark towards the lights above the beach. The hollow voice cracked in alarm. The seagulls never fly in the dark. Jonathan was not alert to listen to that hollow voice. "Get down! Seagulls never fly in the dark!" That repeated in his mind again and again. Further it is said that if you were meant to fly in the dark, you would have the eyes of an owl. You would have charts for brains. You would have a falcon's short wings. He found the answer. But he found the answer to the lack of falcon short wings. Then on the way home, he finds a solution. Speed can be controlled by reducing the length of the wings. All he needs for that is to fold most of his wings and fly on just the tips alone. He climbed 2,000 feet above the Black Sea. He brought his forewings tightly into his body and fell into a vertical dive. His woes of a moment before were forgotten, swept away in the great swift wind. Yet he felt guiltless, breaking a promise breaking the promises he had made himself. Such promises are only for the girls that accept the ordinary. One who has set the excellence in his learning does not need that kind of promise. Forgetting the failure, he trains and achieves success. In the morning, Jonathan was practicing again. From the 5,000 feet, plunged directly towards the sea. By the time he passed 4,000 feet, 240 miles per hour, he had reached a terminal velocity. It was a breakthrough, the greatest single moment in the history of the flag. And at that moment, a new age opened for Jonathan. He was flying now, straight down at 214 miles per hour. He began his pull-out at 1,000 feet and could not stop. Jonathan fired directly to the center of the breakfast flag at the speed of 212 miles per hour and manages not to hit them. The gull of fortune smiled upon him this once that no one was killed. Jonathan spared no time that day for a talk with other girls, but flew on past sunset. He discovered the loop, the slow roll, the point roll, the inverted spin, the gull bunt, the pinwheel. In the evening, another council of the pack gathers. The oldest tells Jonathan to go into the middle of a circle formed by seagulls. It is either the greatest shame or the greatest harm. He expects prize because he succeeded in something that not a single girl had done before. However, the elders' council convicts Jonathan to exile on the far-off cliffs for violating the dignity and customs of the Seagull family during a special shaming ceremony. Jonathan's showing off makes him an outcast. His flock can't understand why Jonathan experiments so much with flying, going so fast, going so far as to even fly in the dark. The elder of the flock says to Jonathan, "One day, you shall learn that irresponsibility does not pay. Life is the unknown and the unknowable, except that we are put into this world to eat. Stay alive as long as we possibly can." Now, a seagull should not talk back to the Seagulls Council. But Jonathan does exactly that, claiming that he is the most responsible one of them all, since, unlike them, he tries to find and follow a meaning, a higher purpose of the life. Jonathan proudly claims that for 1,000 years we have scrambled after the fish heads, but now we have a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. As an outcast, at the end of the first part, one night, during one of his flying adventures, Jonathan Livingston Seagull meets a glowing pair of tanned seagulls. They take him to a place where all the other seagulls practice flying like him. All of them introduce themselves as his brothers. Together flying off to the sky, that is, they tell him that it is time that the second phase of his apprenticeship begins. The two radiant loving seagulls explain to him that he has learned much and that they are there now to teach him more. Jonathan realizes they are talking about the final ascent to heaven and obliges. So, Jonathan flies with them into a perfect dark sky. The rest of his days, Jonathan spends alone. Every day he learns something new and learns to apply his skills, searching for food. He does not miss the pack and lives a long, happy life. Thus, part 1 of this book finds young Jonathan Livingston frustrated with the meaninglessness, materialism, conformity, and limitations of the seagull life.